Okay, just to start us off again, this is the meeting of the ANC3C's Grants Committee, and I'm the co-chair, Gawain Kripke. We're considering a grant proposal from the Hardy Middle School PTO, I think it is, and I do think this meeting will probably be pretty quick, but we are obligated to have sort of a public meeting to discuss it. And before the ANC approving any grants, we need to sort of publicly consider it, and we also need to vote on it. Assuming we go ahead with this, we'll have a recorded vote in our full ANC. Okay, so we have one agenda item, which is this grant proposal, and we have Anna Johnson to present it. I think that's it for our agenda. Does anybody else have anything that they want to talk about for our agenda today?
Nope, sounds good. And do you have any screen share you would like to make this evening?
I don't think so.
Not required. Just wanted to make
Not
sure.
required. Okay, Anna, let me hand it over to you and just give us a little run through about what the grant is, maybe a little bit about yourself too, and then we'll ask some questions.
Sure. So my name is Anna Johnson. I'm a co-president. I have a co-president whose name is Annie Schwendinger, who's not here this evening, but I am a co-president of the Hardy Middle School PTO. This is my second year, second of 2 years, so it's a 2-year term. And my daughter is an 8th grader at Hardy, having come through all 3 years, and she came up through Mann Elementary School. We're in the AU Park area. And personally, I'm a professor at Georgetown. I'm a psychologist. I'm a research psychologist. And I just do this for fun because, when people need you, you step up. But yeah, I run a research lab and I do a lot of education evaluation research. So I know a lot of substance that has been useful in this role. So I'm here because a lot of what we've done, so in the almost year and a half since I've been in this position, I came in this new principal's second year. So the new principal started when my daughter started. Her name is Maureen Westover, the principal, not my daughter. And she started when my daughter was in 6th grade. It became clear that she needed some support and collaboration, as all school leaders do. And so I stepped up with Annie to be co-presidents of the PTO and really support this new administration. Principal Westover is amazing. I think, Gawain, you had said in some email exchanges we had that you had children go through Hardy and Eton too, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had two kids through Eton, but only one through Hardy, and which went through some rough years when we were there. So I think, yeah, go ahead.
That's my understanding. So I've been tracking the education policy landscape in DC more with my professional hat on, but just because I've been here and I knew my kids were going to be in DC public schools, so I've paid close attention for years. I was actually on a group that interviewed Lucas Cook years and years ago for Hardy, so I knew Lucas through that process. And I was in the group that interviewed the now principal of MacArthur High School, who's Dr. Harold McRae. So I know the leadership, especially in Ward 3, in different schools, pretty well. And Westover is amazing. She's fantastic. And her goal, I think, when she came in was really to stabilize the Hardy community because there had been so much turnover in terms of leadership. And her goal is really to, make sure that it's a safe and welcoming educational environment that is, provides challenge to students who need challenge, and support for students who need support, in recognition that Hardy serves an incredibly diverse student population. So there's a lot of socioeconomic diversity, which as a former parent, there's race, ethnic, and language diversity, and there's tons of ability diversity. And I think it's an excellent model, as most of our city schools are, of the best of what public community schools can be. So it's a by right neighborhood school that serves, as Eton, as well as 4 other feeder schools. And then it draws kids from across the city, including those from Anacostia, those in the JBAB Air Force Base. There's a lot of military families. There's a lot of international families. There are families that come from all over. And as a result, the school needs support when it comes to fundraising because the parent population is not balanced in terms of its ability to give financially. And yet there's a ton of need that would benefit from financial support not provided, for services not provided by DCPS. So that's things like calculators for the geometry and algebra class, smart boards and whiteboards for some of the classrooms that don't have them, additional novels for like the ELA reading groups. So in 7th and 8th grade, they've started to differentiate reading groups based on student skills and what students need. And as we all know, I think students learn best when they're interested, engaged in what they're learning. And so the ability to offer different novels to different small clusters has gotten students at all levels really excited about reading. That's stuff that the PTO has provided, and we fundraise to provide those supports. And so one of the things that we are trying to fundraise for is this Math 180 program, and that is specifically the content of the grant that we submitted to your ANC. And we have tried in our fundraising efforts to be very equitable and balanced across the city. So we've written grants to almost every single ANC, including 2E, which is Hardy's catchment, but also the other ANCs in Ward 3. We've written grants to the Palisades Community Fund, the Glover Park Citizens Association, and a private philanthropic organization that's based in Georgetown. So we have like really reached far and wide to try to close the gap between what our parent community and our caregiver community can do and what we need in terms of supports that DCPS won't provide. So the content of the grant we submitted to you guys is specifically for a program called Math 180, which is a math support intervention program designed to help struggling math learners. And it's evidence-based. It has a ton of really positive data behind it. It's actually been used at Hardy in a small pilot capacity last year. And this is public data. The Hardy CAPE test scores went up by a really startling amount. There's no way to know that it was specifically due to this program, which only served a small number of pilot students, but it's a promising suggestion that combined with other efforts in the school are really helping to boost math, particularly for the low learners, the low scoring students, so the struggling learners. So this is an effort to provide that program on a wider scale. The estimate is that between 80 and 100 students in the building would be served. We can't know for obvious like privacy reasons which students are considered to be struggling learners. I don't have that data, so I can't tell you how many of them are Eaton students or Eaton graduates, for instance, but it benefits the whole school community when students with needs have needs being met. Students who are accelerating are able to focus on their material while students who are struggling are getting the support they need. So it's good for everybody. It's good for the whole school community if 100 struggling learners get the supports that they need. So that's the request of the grant. I'll stop because that's a lot of info.
Oh, that's great. Really helpful, actually, and great to meet you and hear a bit more about what about Hardy. Honestly, I was there, but some of the things you said are actually new to me, or good refreshers. So just to note that this grant proposal was passed by the Office of ANC, and they reviewed it and said it's eligible. So that's sometimes a hurdle that we don't get past, and so that's cleared. So this is the second to last step, this little hearing here or this meeting, and then a vote at the ANC. As far as I'm concerned, that was great, and I think it's a good proposal, and we had fond feelings about Hardy, although a very mixed experience there. And I'm a big believer in Hardy and on Principal Westover and on the parents supporting it. And I hope our ANC will be able to support it. Let me turn it over to see if anybody else wants to ask questions or make any comments.
No, that was really great and helpful. I'm glad that you're taking this initiative on and that you have the support of folks, including I don't see us not approving this. So, but out of curiosity, how much does the whole program cost for that amount of students, like in total?
So for that number of students, the amount of the grant that we submitted is the total amount needed for the materials because we can scale it up. So like 3 workbooks can cover a small group of 9 kids broken into 3 groups of 3. The teacher instructional materials are used for our department chair, who helped me write the grant, and then the math specialist. So like one set of teacher instruction materials is shared among the instructors delivering the material. So it can be scaled up, but like it's not my understanding that, if we had, twice as many kids, we would probably need some more money because we would need more of the materials for the kids, but it wouldn't be a doubling.
Okay, cool. That's good to know.
And once we've invested in the teacher learning, that's like a, sustainable resource. Like we don't need to keep investing in that.
Yeah. No, I was on the website for the program and it looks awesome. I personally hate math and hated learning math, so this would have been great.
It's very different now.
It is. I do math with my kids, and I mean, first of all, they're just learning a lot more math than I did at their age. It's amazing what they're doing, but it is really hard. And also the techniques for teaching are just really different than when I was learning. So I'm often not that helpful because I don't really know how to do it. Yeah. Not just the math, but the process that they're going through.
Yeah,
I will
it's pretty
say
different.
my mother is the math major in my family. And when they switched over how they did math with like box learning, box addition, and all of that, my mother was like, 2 and 2 is 4. We don't need this box. We don't need to add them. She's like, 2 plus 2 is 4. So I hear you on that, Godwin.
Yeah, we use rocks and sticks. I don't know what they're doing now. Okay, other questions or comments from our meeting?
I just will echo Janelle's comments about just thank you for filling out the paperwork, and definitely looking forward to supporting this.
Thank
I
you.
know the paperwork is not easy or fun.
But we as a commission are like actively seeking opportunities to fund things exactly like this. So if you know of others that
Well, I would also love for there to be a way, like the Palisades Community Fund, for instance, gave us a grant to support repairing musical instruments for the orchestra and the band. And what we suggested to them, and that they accepted, and we welcomed other suggestions, but what we landed on as a way to acknowledge them and kind of spread the word and generate ultimately more grant proposals to use the funds in the way that I think the organization would like them to be used, was to like acknowledge them in the program when we have our concert, and to do like a verbal acknowledgement, and then to have our band students march in the Palisades 4th of July parade and play some of their instruments. So like, I'm wondering if there's a way for the ANCs, because we have received funding from ANC 3, you guys are 3C, 3B last year, and 3A, I want to say. And I feel like there must be a way to kind of, acknowledge and lift up for others, like the elementaries in the feeder pattern, that you guys do this kind of grant making. And, that like, it's just a really nice way, I think, for, community members who aren't part of the ANC or necessarily even part of the school to just see like what an ANC does.
yeah. You agree. OANC was making it very challenging with their rules that they seem to be making up on the fly until recently. So we're happy that we seem to have more of a concrete path to getting things approved rather than spending the money. And we have enough money that if it got disapproved, we're fine. We'd rather have money in the community than sitting in our bank account where it's not full.
Right.
So
I think it would be great if we could find a way to just like lift up, I don't know, maybe on your website, or like when you guys have your meeting, I'm sure you do reporting out, and I know we're required to provide you with a report of the spending and the, like the benefits to the community, which we will of course do. But like if there's a way to feature that to your members and the folks who attend your regular calls, like that might just be really gratifying for people.
That's good. We should announce it in some way like that, just as you say. But also, yeah, if you do credit us somewhere, which we appreciate, that helps get the word out that it's possible. So I don't know if the PTO puts out notices and stuff like that, but that's another good thing. And if you talk to people in other feeder schools and stuff like that, we're really, for the feeder school that we're most concerned with is Eaton, because that's the one in our commission. But and Oyster, but Oyster's not a feeder. Anyway, so I don't want to belabor this. and also I'm hoping to get out early to go to something. So anybody else have other questions or comments they want to make?
I just will say we post them in our annual report.
Right.
Yeah, but I think it's more of like the results of the program.
I see.
Yeah, that's like where we're not required to report on like the actual results of the program. It's just like that we cut the check for you.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think we anticipate like continued increased math CAPE scores. And I think again, while we won't be able to say specifically it was due to this, like I think what we're looking at is like so the CAPE is a 1 to 5, and it's the 1s and 2s who are like below grade level. We're looking to push 1s and 2s into the 3s. And if we see that, I think that we could, argue that that was in part due to the investment in this program.
Yeah, that's great.
That'd be cool.
Well,
okay, so this next steps are I'll write a resolution basically in support of the proposal. There won't be much to it because the proposal itself is the sort of operating document, and we'll consider it at our next ANC meeting. We'll have a vote. You're welcome, but you don't need to show up. Well, actually, it might be good. I'll send you the notice in case there are comments or questions that come up at the meeting. It might be good if you can attend. I'll send you the information.
Is that going to be, are we also discussing alleyways and Montessori schools and cannabis dispensaries? Because if we are, now I know so much, I feel like I have to come.
we'll put you at the front of the agenda if that is the case, so that
I kept thinking, I was like, this is actually really interesting, but also like, wow, I was like, I don't really have nearly that much to say. And I started to feel a little bit insecure. Like, was I supposed to have more of like a feisty dialogue with someone? Like, I was like, I don't know how this is going to go. Is anyone going to have anything to say to me? No.
No, these are usually pretty innocuous. Okay, I'll send you the information. It would be great if you or somebody else from the PTO could be on the line just in case something comes up. But more likely, it'll just pass without much discussion.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time and for your support. We really appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you. All right.
Bye.
Thank you.